The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct was just a couple days ago, and one of the biggest announcements inside of that Direct was that GameCube games are coming to Switch 2. Thanks to the paid membership of Nintendo Switch Online, you can now emulate GameCube games that Nintendo decides to put on the console, and it looks like it's going to be launching alongside the Switch 2. So meaning on launch day you can play classics like The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. And yet there are many more awesome games to come when the likes of Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, Mario Strikers, and many more. In my opinion, the GameCube is one of my personal favorite consoles, as it's a console that I truly grew up with. And I truly have to thank the GameCube for even being the reason that I have this YouTube channel at all. Because without the GameCube, I would have never been exposed to Sonic. Because the first game that I actually ever played was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube, and went back and played the likes of Adventure, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Heroes, or even Sonic Riders. And from there, my absolute love for the Blue Hedgehog completely started and has completely ran my life. But what I'm getting at is with this new emulator being brought over to Nintendo Switch Online, can we expect anything from Sonic? While it wasn't officially announced by Sega or Nintendo, and it also wasn't shown in the catalog of games that they decided to show within the trailer of announcing this, I think it would be a pretty big damn shame if they didn't include any Sonic games inside of this. And that's not just coming from a Sonic fanboy. Because although the GameCube didn't sell extremely well, Sonic has some of the highest selling games on the GameCube. With Sonic Adventure 2 Battle being the 14th most sold game on the GameCube, Sonic Adventure DX being 18, and Sonic Heroes and Sonic Mega Collection still being in the 20s not far down. That's competing with the likes of Paper Mario of the Thousand Year Door, Star Fox Adventures, the original Pikmin game, Super Mario Strikers, and even The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. All of those games are incredible and are still games that people talk about to this day. While Twilight Princess didn't have a bunch of time to shine inside of that console, considering it was towards the end of the GameCube's life, it's still gotta mean something that all these games sold so damn well. And I think it would be a great opportunity for Nintendo and Sega to bring this over. Because if you're a Sonic fan or just have any gaming presence on any of the social media sites, you know that people have been absolutely asking for the adventure games to be ported over to Switch. And a lot of people thought that the best way of doing that would be to be completely remaking them or just porting them over. But now with the GameCube emulator coming over to Switch 2, this is the absolute perfect way to put these games on the new Switch and be able to play these games portably. Because not only do you have the likes of the adventure games, you also have Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Gems Collection, and Sonic Mega Collection. But simply porting over those games isn't even the biggest thing about that. The biggest thing in my opinion would be to be able to play these games online multiplayer. Because Nintendo said with this emulation coming to Nintendo Switch 2, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, you can actually play alongside friends online. And a lot of these games actually feature some capabilities of having co-op, because Sonic Adventure 2's Battle Mode is actually some of the best co-op features in any Sonic game ever. I have personally so many memories of playing through all the speed stages, the treasure hunting stages, or even the mech stages with alongside my family members or friends. They're truly some of the best highlights and moments that I've ever had playing Sonic, and being able to relive that would be incredible, or even being able to introduce people that never got the chance to. Or playing Sonic Riders online would be absolutely incredible, and I think a lot of people would actually end up playing that game, as Sonic Riders still has a really big community to this day and even has some competitive races. This would be a huge way to build that community, but also get a huge player base of actually having the capability of playing that game, because not a lot of people have a PC to be able to make a ROM and play it on Dolphin emulator, or potentially even go out and buy a GameCube and buy a game, as GameCube games are really expensive nowadays. As I said before, the GameCube really didn't sell all that well, so the production of games ultimately isn't as big as you would think it is. So a lot of games end up having a huge price point, and a lot of people aren't willing to pay that. I know a hell of a lot more people would be a lot more thankful being able to play these games for free with a Nintendo Switch Online membership. But personally, the thing that I would actually like to play the most on the whole online multiplayer thing is the likes of Sonic the Fighters and Sonic R inside of Sonic Gems Collection. Those games have some of the most fun multiplayer inside of the entire series. Sonic the Fighters is truly a super underrated game and has so much content jam-packed into that small game. And Sonic R, while it does have its flaws, is actually really fun to race around with your friends and be able to compete against each other. Similar to Sonic Riders DX or Sonic Riders Tournament Edition having more of a competitive mode inside of that, I I think it would be so cool to see the likes of Sonic R tournaments, or Sonic the Fighter tournaments, or even Sonic Riders tournaments, or you could even do Sonic Adventure 2 Speed Battle tournaments. I mean, there's some strategic stuff to each of those games. I genuinely think it would be a huge missed opportunity by not only Nintendo, but Sega as well to completely jump on this and have Nintendo do that. As Sega has definitely had a really good relationship with Nintendo over the years, and they even have a Sega Genesis emulator on the Nintendo Switch Online membership for the original Switch already. So why wouldn't you bring all these games over? The one console that they actually ended up giving an emulator, it just doesn't have a lot of games on it, and it doesn't have any Sonic games for that fact, is the Game Boy Advanced emulator. It has the likes of The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, Superstar Saga, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and some of the Wario, Yoshi, and Kirby games on them, or even a personal favorite of mine, Golden Sun, but it doesn't have the likes of Sonic Advance, Sonic Battle, or anything like that at all. Again, two series that were absolutely incredible, and the Sonic Advance series is some of my favorite Sonic games to ever exist. So while it could definitely happen, it doesn't mean that it is going to exactly happen. Because that's another downside, is while I did list all of those games being a feature inside of that console, Nintendo doesn't add games a lot to these features. Because as of right now, it actually only looks like 3 games are going to end up being ported over right away when the Switch 2 comes out. From pictures from the demo that have been taking place at Nintendo New York, it actually only looks like Wind Waker, Strikers, and Soul Calibur 2 are going to be the games that are available right away. While they did announce a bunch of games to be coming out later on, we don't know exactly how fast or when that is going to be. That could be over the course of 2 years for all we know. And Sonic wasn't featured in that list. Hell, even Smash Bros. Melee wasn't considered in that list. Nintendo knows very well which games deserve to be on there, it's just whether they actually want to put it on there. I think it's absolutely insane that Melee wasn't one of the first games to be put on there, considering it is the best-selling GameCube game and still has a humongous popularity in the likes of tournaments nowadays. And a lot of people still even consider that the best Smash Bros. Game. And having an official way to play that with online multiplayer would be absolutely incredible. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see with the likes of that. All of those games were incredible, and the GameCube has some of the best games of any console ever. And I would really like to see Sonic amongst that list in the very near future. But with that being said, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about the whole situation. Will you be getting the Nintendo Switch 2 with all the different price changes that are happening recently? Or would you like to see some of the GameCube Sonic games ported over to the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube emulator? If so, which one would you like to see, or what GameCube game would you like to see? I would love to know. With all that being said, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.